Welcome to the Bernalillo County Clerk's Training video series about how precinct judges and poll workers operate an election. The presiding judge is responsible for the overall operation of each polling site. When it comes to opening the polls during early voting and on Election Day, there are several important steps to remember. First, arrive on time. All poll workers depend on the presiding judge to open the door, as you are the only one with a key. You should report to your polling location 1 hour prior to the time the polls are scheduled to open. Times will differ for early voting and Election Day voting. Check your scheduling assignments to be certain. The polling place will be set up in advance, including the machines, the chairs, tables, and signage. If you have any questions, please refer to the diagrams provided. Second, you will need to make sure all poll workers are accounted for and let dispatch know immediately if anyone is missing or has not shown up. Dispatch can call a standby poll worker to come in as a replacement. Next, check your supply box for all necessary supplies and make sure all voting booths have pens. If any supplies are missing, call dispatch as soon as possible. Next, you will need to power up computers and, in some cases, the vote tabulation machines to make sure they are working properly and ensure that all supplies are available and stocked. New Mexico voters vote on paper ballots, but computers print the ballots and the tabulation machines receive the ballots. So check the paper levels in the printers and set out any supplies you need throughout the day. If any machines are not working properly, contact dispatch immediately. It is important to remember that during early voting, you will turn on the tabulator machines once and leave them on throughout the early voting period, which usually lasts a little over 2 weeks. On Election Day, the machine presiding judge, alongside the presiding judge, will be responsible for opening and closing the tabulation machines. During early voting, the polls are open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Saturday. On Election Day, they are open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. only. It is the duty of the presiding judge to open the polls on time. Once machines have been checked and supplies stocked, announce that the polling location is open. Use the same clock or watch for the open and closing of the polls. No voting is allowed before or after the stated hours, with the exception of voters in line when the polls close on Election Day. It is important to avoid disruptions to the voting process. Campaigning and electioneering is not allowed within 100 feet of the polling location if at a school. For non-school polling locations, campaigning and electioneering is not allowed within 100 feet of the entryway. This boundary will be marked at the polling location. Items not allowed within 100 feet of the polling location include T-shirts, hats, buttons, signs, and other items that indicate a preference for a political party or candidate or a position on a question. If poll workers encounter a voter or campaigner campaigning in such a manner, they should politely ask them to remove, discard, or cover up the offending item. In the case of an offending T-shirt, for example, they can ask the voter to go to a restroom to turn the shirt inside out. Voters must always identify themselves, but here in Bernalillo County, there are several ways to do it. The voter may give you their name, registered address, and year of birth. Alternatively, they may show you a picture ID, such as a driver's license, a utility bill, or bank statement, or they may produce a voter ID card. The address on the ID does not need to match the registered address in the computer system. Please refer to the manual to learn all the ways you can verify someone's identification. However, if the voter cannot adequately identify themselves, the presiding judge or the exceptions judge will be called upon to determine if the voter should be issued a provisional ballot. Refer to the manual on how to process a provisional ballot. If you have immediate questions, you can call dispatch for further information. Once the voter has been identified and is confirmed in the computer system, have them sign the signature pad and print the ballot. Ballots are shown in English and Spanish. The computer will print a ballot and voting permit slip. Please give both of these items to the voter. The system clerk must ask the voter if they would like a privacy sleeve. Then direct the voter to a voting booth. After filling out the ballot, the voter will give the permit slip to the poll worker and place their ballot in the tabulator. This is how you open the polls, organize your poll workers, and have voters cast their ballot. If at any time you have questions or concerns, call the dispatch number. If you have any kind of emergency, medical or otherwise, call 911 first, then call dispatch.